Hey, it's Jack from Alpha Charts with a stocks to watch video. Today is February 4th, 2024. Before we get started, this video is for informational purposes only. These are not recommendations to buy, sell, or hold any stock or security. And I may hold positions in some of the equities mentioned. Know your time frame and risk tolerance. All right, thank you all for watching the video. I have a whole bunch of really good looking names for you today. But before we get started, if you haven't done so, please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. That really does help me put on the alerts. I don't put out videos, every day or anything like that, so you won't get alerts all the time. So, it does help me by you guys, liking, subscribing, alerts, all that kind of stuff. The other thing is you can find me on Twitter or X at AlphaCharge365. I'm posting things all the time on there for everybody. But I also have a subscriber group, which you all know. If you haven't done so yet, check it out. It's $10 a month, super, super affordable for everybody. And it's made for people that either can't do all the work themselves, right? Maybe they work full time and don't have the time to do it. Maybe but still want to trade actively in the market. Maybe they just want a second opinion on what they're thinking. And for $10 a month, all right, it's not like a week or whatever. It's $10 a month. It's great to have a second opinion on what you're thinking. I find that useful. I have my people I go to, which I've run things against as well. So it's a super affordable subscription, and you get again in depth, maybe an hour long or so, 45 minutes to an hour usually, stocks to watch where I go through a lot more names. You get market notes twice a week, on Sundays and on Thursdays. I do a midweek video. I do a focus list video. If you don't want to spend all that time, you just want, hey, give me five, to 10, 5, 7 setups every week. That's my focus list video. So that alone is probably worth the $10 a month because you get one of those every single week. You get market scans, you get annotated charts. You want me to check out a chart? I'll give you, my opinion on things. I don't tell you to buy or sell. I do share what my setups are though, what I'm doing. You do what's good for you, right? And then tons of more bonus content. Too much to really even talk about here. So $10 a month at Alpha Charge 365. Again, it gives you a second opinion, if nothing else, which is invaluable. So check it out and let's get into the video. All right, so we have the SPY and we are at all-time highs, right? Nothing bearish about that. Maybe a little extended. I wouldn't be shocked or surprised if we see some sort of pullback or retest. It doesn't make me bearish at all. It just makes me, maybe I don't want to say cautious, but things seem a little extended right now. So we'll keep watching it and see if that holds true. That being said, there's many names that are looking absolutely great and setting up. And so we can manage risk really easy in some of these names. So let's get into them. I think I have about 10 names for you today. They're really nice looking names. First one's gonna be GitLab, GTLB. So let's just zoom out for the big, oh, see where this is one that we're actually in. Let's move that out there for now. But you see how it's made this kind of this base and had inverse head and shoulders near the bottom, broke out, came to this area, and now it broke out, came back, retested it. So I like this type of setup because one, it has a bull flag look to it. Second is it's right near the the pivot. So basically, if it can get above this area, we could be long. And if it falls below this area, we don't want to be involved in this name at all. Right. So that's kind of the way I'm thinking about this name. Looks really good. Very bullish name. Decent accumulation showing up there. Next up is CrowdStrike, CRWD. Again, zooming out, you know, let this flow. There you go. By the way, I'm using Deep View. If you want any more information about Deep View, an amazing screener and charting platform, go to deepview.com. But you have this CrowdStrike here right near all-time highs. Love that. Big base. Now, the question is, does it need to build a handle here? Right. That's really the bigger question. And so when we zoom in and we look and, it's got this little bitty handle going here. But I think if it can move higher than, call it 307-ish or so, if we get above 307, I think CrowdStrike continues to lead the market. Does need to prove itself. We saw sellers come in here, sellers come in here, and now it's kind of challenging that area once more. So it's an interesting spot. And it's one that I think we should pay attention to because CrowdStrike is one of the leaders. PEOR is next. PEOR, a little bit of a smaller name, right? Decent amount of shares being sold. This is one that we were involved in as well. Again, just because you're watching the free video doesn't mean I'm not giving you quality stocks. These are stocks that I'm also giving to my membership as well. So just that being aside. But you have this PEOR and you have this, kind of dip, which we saw from all the IPOs from 2021, basically. And now it's starting to make its march higher. Um, Zooming in here, and you have this kind of basey area right there, and it's starting to move higher. I think we could get to this $84, $85 area if it continues higher. Now, if it gets underneath, we'll call it $70, there's no reason to be involved in the name. That's it. So again, a good reward to risk, if it gets, above 74, we buy it. Below 70, we leave it alone. Next up is PAGS. This is the one I got shaken out of this one. I used to be in this one. I think this day shook me out. And of course, it rips after that, right? One nice thing about being the subscriber group is that it doesn't matter how I trade as much as how you trade because you're not following me in anything I do. That's the beauty of it. It's educational and it shares with you the information and then you get to make the decisions. And that's what I think it makes it kind of unique is that I don't want you to follow me at all. I want you to make your own decisions. And that's why, some of my members trade better than I do, and that's okay. I'm happy for them. But this one I was too tight on. I guess I'm a little bitter about that, huh? Because it ripped right on me right afterwards, basically. Anyway, it's looking really good. Got this double bottom look to it. Still think it could get up to the $17 area. That'd be a nice little gain, roughly 20% or so. And so that looks pretty good, right? Maybe 25%. But yeah, PAGS. Next up, SentinelOne. SentinelOne. There you are. And you see this, I like to look at this AS score right there. I should probably make my charts a little bit bigger. But that's the absolute strength score. When you see like these 90s, it's a good name, right? But let's zoom into here and you see how it's making the base. And this kind of, did gap up and then it came right back. Held the 9-day though, which is really nice. So like this, I wouldn't have gotten involved in because of the gap, but then it came back and is now trying again. And so if it gets back above, $28 or so, I think we could be long. You may say, okay, I want to be above 28, 35 or 28.50. That's a little safer, and I get it. Nothing wrong with that. But SentinelOne's set up really nice. App loving, zooming out, and again, a name that we've been involved in. Beautiful base, and there is, your whether you want to call it cup and handle or inverse head and shoulders or whatever. This is a good looking, again, deep base here. And so that's why I need, I think, a little bit more time in this handle, but it looks pretty good. And I think the handle, is actually really nice looking. And if it breaks back above, I think it's got to prove itself because of this bar right here. That was a 9% down day bar. And again, this was the shakeout bar for me. You know, and then it continued lower, which I did not like. And then boom, 12% day. I don't love this type of market in general, just because it's kind of wide and loose, which is a lot different than some of this and here. You did have some shakeout days along the way. Um, it has to prove itself again for me. So about $46, $47. I think then you got a pretty good shot to 54 at that point. So that's APP, FOUR. This is shift for payments. And you can kind of go back and look. This one was from 2020. And again, had a little rise up. 2020 was good. 2021 into 2022, not so much. And now it's kind of basing from that. And so you see the polarity very nicely here, right? Support, support. This became resistance, 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 and it's getting tight. It's getting tight. If we get inches above 77, I think we'd be long 4. Yeah, it's easy. All the moving averages have now caught up. They are aligned loosely, but bullishly, no doubt. And if it gets above 77, we could be long the name. And if it gets under, we'll call it 73, I don't think we should be long the name at all. That's just me. INTA is next. Again, a little bit of a thinner name. Only about 350 or so shares traded on the daily. Here's the IPO over here in 2021. Again, as you would expect, a big move lower. And then it tried to break out here, failed. But look how it only came back to like 31-ish, right? Didn't come all the way back down here or here or here. You know what I'm saying? Like it could have, but it didn't. Buyers were found over here. And it came back, and now it's kind of topping out. And we'll see. Maybe it's breaking out here, right? It's possible this little flag and this is breaking out. It may roll over. I get it. Absolutely. Maybe I need to, do something like this, right? Maybe that's a better flag. Maybe, but if this $40 area holds and makes another higher low, that would be really interesting. Basically if the 50-day, if it comes out back, test the 50-day, you get this 200-day go in the correct direction up. Then that would be really interesting. So it's definitely one I want to watch. Again, this is just a watch list, not a focus list or anything like that. These are just things that are potential setups. And it could be this week, could be next week. Who knows? Here's DraftKings. It's a name that I like a lot as well. Beautiful kind of cup and handle-esque, right? Right into this kind of supply area. We'll see. Super Bowl is in a week. Supposedly there's gonna be some announcement with Barstool Sports, which would make sense. Davey Day Trader is probably all over it, and I think this could continue higher. I think we see the $62 area. That would be a big deal, right? Not bad for a fantasy football company, right? Anyway, looks great. Is it extended? Maybe it is a little extended here, and maybe this week we get some sort of recheck to the moving averages, let them catch up a little bit, and then we can get the move higher. It does have earnings coming up on February 15th. Again, if you ever see a flag here on Deep View, that means earnings are coming up. If it's gray, it's in 2 weeks, within 2 weeks. If it's red, it's within the week, usually, okay? That's kind of their color coding. Next and the last one is IoT. This one has been a nemesis of mine, but I'm not giving up on it. I'm not going to give up on things, right? So let me get rid of this straight arrow here. So we have this, again, 2021, 2022. We know the story. Things were tough. 2023, things got better, right? And now we're into 2024. And it's retesting the real breakout right here. And I have a beautiful downtrend line right here. Again, a little bit of a choppy trade, especially for a 3 million share a day stock, right? Traded shares. It is trying to do something here. And I'd like to see it tighten up, to be honest. I want to see this tighten up, but I think we have a trend line here that we could play against. And I think, above, call it 33 or so, we could be long the name, and below 30 or so, that would be, I think we don't want to be long the name at all, right? So it's a pretty wide, was it 9%? 7%, roughly 7%. It's kind of wide area. That's why I like to see it tighten up, especially, around these, in this upper range, right above all these moving averages. That would be really nice. Going back 50 days right there. So again, this 50 days can start to flatten out really soon. So we'll see if it can tighten up and then move higher. That's what I'm looking for. Okay. So there you go. A whole bunch of names. I think these were really good ones. Names that I'm interested in. If you haven't checked it out, you get that plus so much more. My subscriber group, again, it's $10 a month. Super, super cheap. I want to share this with everybody. That's one of the reasons why it is so cheap, so everyone can afford it. Again, if you're working full time, or if you if you just want an extra eyeballs on what you're looking at and see if you're, thinking the right way and stuff, I'll give my opinion, and that's all I could promise. Hope y'all are doing well. Thank you for watching. Take care.